Good day, everyone. Today, I am going to discuss the primitive communism and the egalitarian society. First, let us define what is communism. In political and social sciences, communism comes from the Latin word communis, which means common or universal. It is the philosophical, social, and political and economic ideology and movement whose ultimate goal is the establishment of the communist society, which is a socio-economic order structured upon the common ownership of the means of production and the absence of social classes, money, and the state. Now let us proceed to the primitive communism. Primitive communism refers to the collective right to basic resources, the absence of hereditary status or authoritarian rule, and the egalitarian relationships that preceded exploitation and economic stratification in human history. Primitive communism is a way of describing the gift economies of hunter-gatherers throughout history, where resources and property hunted and gathered are shared with all members of a group in accordance with individual needs. Now, let us proceed to the history of primitive communism. The Speculative Evolutionary History by Lewis Henry Morgan highlighted the liberty and the equality among the ancient people that was evident in the family setting of the Iroquois nation. Karl Marx and Engels were inspired by Lewis Henry Morgan's description of communism in living that characterized the Iroquois nation of North America. Now let us proceed to another communist, Friedrich Engels. Engels transformed his idea into an evolutionary theory with a publication, The Origin of the Family, in 1884. He argued that transition from traditional modes of production to subsequent production involved a change of production for domestic or family use to production for sale or exchange, and a transformation from communal family relations to an individual family as the main economic unit. Let us proceed to another communist, Karl Marx. He believed that capitalism was an antiquated system that fed on the working class and increased the gap between rich and poor. Capitalism, in Marx's eyes, contributed to the degradation of society and needed to be replaced. Primitive communism was a concept put forward by Karl Marx. He proposed that the traditional hunters and gatherers were based on egalitarian social relations and common ownership. His well-known tome, The Communist Manifesto, published in 1848 and written with Friedrich Engels, sought to outline the basic faults of capitalism and educate readers on the principles of communism, Marx's solution to the perceived problem of a free market society. The manifesto contained 10 steps, known as the 10 planks, were intended as a test to determine if a society had successfully become a communist state. The manuscript led to the banishment of Marx, his wife, and children from both Germany and France, and he lived the remainder of his years in London, beginning in 1849. Let us proceed to the characteristic of primitive communism. First is full democracy. This is because about all members of the society had to make decisions to arrive at the solution, regardless of their sexes. Second is lack of specialization. This is because all people in the society are supposed to do all jobs together. Jobs include tool making, gathering fruits, preparing shelter, and hunting. The third is the absence of exploitation. The communal societies has neither exploiters or exploited. Fourth characteristic is shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation means that the same plots of land are not cultivated for long and that cultivators move from one plot to another. The reason for doing so are understandable. The decreasing yield of land as a result of continuous cultivation can be counteracted through proper maturing, but maturing represents a rather advanced scientific level of cultivation. The fifth is hunting and gathering. Hunting-gathering societies hunt animals and gather plants as their means of survival. Hunter-gatherers move about a great deal in search of food, but they cover only a small area because their food sources are so limited. Usually, men were hunting and women were gathering. The seventh characteristic of primitive communism is low level of development. Low level of development, this is because there was no surplus. The eighth characteristic is no private ownership. This means that the means of production such as land, tools, and weapons belong to the community. The ninth characteristic is shared property. There is no concept of ownership beyond individual possessions. The tribe shares everything in order to ensure its survival. The social class in communism. According to communist theory, there are two main social classes. First, there is the working class, consisting of the workmen and laborers who are exploited by their capitalist bosses. The second class is the bourgeoisie or the capitalist. They just profit from the work of their employees and are seen as the enemies of the working class. They should be extinguished or re-educated. In the ideal communist society, there are no classes anymore. Everybody works not for the money but to be a useful member of the society. Let us proceed to the perceived benefits of communism. First, theoretically, a communist society promotes the equality of all people. Classes do not exist in a communist system, and therefore, all citizens are equal. This eliminates the class struggle that Marx believed caused numerous conflicts, including shortage and wars. The second is, communist ideology seeks to eliminate child labor and encourage education for everyone. Each child is entitled to an education under communist principles. The third benefit of communism is communism supports a lack of competition, which originates within its beliefs in equality for everyone. The fourth benefit of communism is communism supports the role of the worker. Under the communist system, every member of society is given a job. The government owns all production and can therefore employ each member of society. Lack of employment can lead to poverty, lowered self-esteem, and substance abuse. In a communist system, all citizens are provided work. Now let us proceed to the egalitarian system. Egalitarianism comes from the French word égal, meaning equal, or equalitarianism is a school of thought that prioritizes equality for all people. According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, egalitarian doctrines maintain that all humans are equal in fundamental worth or social status. Let us proceed now to the economic feature in egalitarian society. First is pastoralism. It refers to owning domesticated animals for production, transportation, or slaughter, as well as successfully stealing horses and maintaining a herd of livestock. Second economic feature is generosity. It refers to displaying kindness through throwing feast, giving gift, self-search depreciation, distributing resources or property among the group, and providing voluntary assistance in economic activities. The fourth is technology. which refers to demonstrating a proficiency in specialized manufacturing of tools or functional products such as arrows, crafted tools, canoes, as well as displaying superior mechanical skills. The next is hunting, which refers to demonstrated competence in hunting by reliably providing protein from wild game for distribution. The last economic feature of primitive communism is horticulture. It refers to success in growing food, producing surplus of staple crops consistently yielding good harvest, proficiency in gathering wild plant foods, skill in tree felling, and maintaining productivity in cultivation. Let us proceed to the political feature in egalitarian society. First is the geographical knowledge. It refers to knowing the homeland while being able to predict or identify resources, traveling to foreign land, pioneering new territory, processing knowledge of the outside world, traveling in dangerous, life-threatening conditions successfully, the ability to influence outsiders for group interest, and maintaining or establishing intergroup political relations. The next is kinship marriage. It refers to maintaining kin alliances, the ability to influence and organize distant kin, supporting extended kin in single household marriage for kin alliance, maintaining marriages in the interest of kin group, having many wives or dependents, and marriage exchange. The next is oratory skill. It refers to being able to organize a large group of individuals under a common goal, ability to clearly and eloquently communicate to a crowd. The next political feature is dispute settlement. It refers to the ability to resolve conflicts, including miming and comedy, to display tension, mediating fair discourse between individuals, or having demonstrated successful in group or out-group resolutions. The next political feature is warfare. It refers to being a natural leader in battle, displaying courage on the battlefield, having successfully killed enemies, demonstrating a willingness to go to war, and returning alive. Let us proceed to the ritual feature of egalitarian society. First is augury. It refers to being able to predict events or catastrophes, the ability to interpret dreams and foresee the future, and success. The next is shamanism. It refers to successfully healing deceased individuals, possessions of supernatural spirits, application of medicinal plants or magical surgical techniques, the use and application of magic for healing purposes or manipulation of spirit world. The next is ceremony. It refers to displaying ritual leadership or experience, completion of initiating ceremonies associated with puberty of age set requirements, completion of cultural ceremonies related to the situations or needs, membership in elite or secret societies, or the ability to transfer ritual or ceremonial knowledge. Let's move forward to the personality feature of egalitarian society. First is self-control. It refers to maintaining reservation and control through tense situation, not displacing anger, taking a peaceful approach to many situations, and active avoiding conflict. The second is aggressiveness. It refers to the ability to express opinion and ideas, being able to express discontent without reservation, being forceful in aggressiveness with others, and gaining respect through aggressiveness displays. The third personality feature is intelligence. intelligence to being quick-witted and able to make good decisions on the spot, being knowledgeable on a variety of subjects, and displaying contextual knowledge or educational knowledge. Let's forward to the last topic of this chapter, the modern egalitarianism theory. Modern egalitarianism theory is a theory that rejects the classic definition of egalitarianism as a possible achievement economically, politically, and socially. Modern egalitarianism theory, or new egalitarianism, outlines that if everyone had the same opportunity cost, then there would be no comparative advances and no one would gain from trading with each other. In essence, the immense gains people receive from trading with each other arise because they are unequal in characteristics and talents. These differences may be innate or developed so that people can gain from trading with each other.